Political analyst Frans Cronje says the country is breaking up into enclaves. Professor Koos Malan says that the collapsing state is splintering apart into micro-republics. But what exactly does this mean for us? And what exactly does it look like when countries do break up into new territorial entities? And perhaps the biggest question of all is, what does this mean for the future of our own people here in South Africa? Stay tuned because in today's video we are going to tell you a story you've most probably never heard before. The story of how a small and largely forgotten ethnic group with absolutely zero political power or influence managed to somehow establish their own Volksstaat or independent state or ethno-territorial enclave against all odds shortly after the Soviet Union fell apart. And what is particularly fascinating about this unknown story from the 1990s is that this particular people group did so by constitutional means and under a constitutional article that is remarkably similar to Article 235 of the South African Constitution inside the Constitution of the USSR. What is more, the recent constitutional and legal development in the country where all of this unfolded highlights that contrary to what many would want us to believe, even in a constitutionally unitary state like South Africa, there are still potential legal avenues for full secession of a group or a territory. In today's video, we are going to highlight how a Volksstaat born in Eastern Europe fairly recently can serve as a very good example for South Africa in the midst of our process of balkanization and how this example can be fruitfully applied on home soil to provide a political home for millions of Afrikaners. When the Soviet Union fell apart towards the end of the 20th century, the small nation of Moldova formally declared itself independent from the Communist Empire in August 1991. Moldova is a very small, landlocked and very poor country in Eastern Europe, squeezed in right between Romania and the Ukraine. Its total land area is only roughly 33,000 square kilometers, which make it about the size of Lesotho. The Moldovan people speak Romanian, and even though they refer to their language officially as Moldovan, it is at best a dialect of Romanian. More than 94% of Moldova's population also identify as Eastern Orthodox Christians, making it one of the most homogeneously Eastern Orthodox countries in the entire world. When it comes to Moldova's ethnic makeup, the country is also fairly homogeneous. According to the final 2024 census results, this country is 77% Moldovan, 8% Romanian, 5% Ukrainian, 4% Gagauz, 3% Russian and 2% Bulgarian. The Gagauz people are a very small minority in Moldova, but they are a very unique people culturally and linguistically. They actually don't speak any European language, but a Turkic dialect. But this is not because they are ethnically related in any way or descended in any way from the Turks or other Central Asian peoples like the Kazakhs, but rather because they as a people have adopted this Turkic language through centuries of contact with these Turkic peoples. What makes this nation particularly interesting to us here at the Willem Petzer Group is the fact that they constitute a similar minority inside Moldova as the Afrikaners do here in South Africa, numbering roughly 5% of the population. And moreover, the Afrikaners, like us, they have been involved in a remarkably similar fight for self-determination inside their own homeland for a very long time. And it is what they have achieved in their struggle that we believe can be of immense value to everyone in South Africa, especially as we are witnessing the collapse of the ANC dispensation before our eyes right now. Today, the Gagauz ethnic group, despite being less than 5% in a very small country like Moldova, constitute around 82% of the population of Gagauzia, an autonomous territorial region in southern Moldova specifically created to serve as the national homeland for this nation, meaning that it was created as a volksstaat in the very true sense of the meaning of the word in Afrikaans. The territory of the region is around 1,850 square kilometers, and it has around 120,000 residents, making it roughly similar in size to the population of the Midvaal local municipality in Gauteng. But here's the interesting thing. The territory of Gaugasia didn't even exist prior to 1995. In fact, it was only established after the leaders of the Gaugas people reached a settlement with the Moldovan government, through which this new territory would be recognized as an autonomous ethno-territorial unit. Its final borders were determined through local referendums in March 1995. Gauga's majority municipalities qualified for the inclusion, while neighboring communities could also vote on whether they want to join or not. The resulting territory was therefore carved out settlement by settlement according to ethnic concentration and local choice. All of this meant that some municipalities left existing provinces to join this new ethnic territory. So what makes this story so unique and so relevant to the aspirations for an Afrikaner state in South Africa is the fact that the territory was specifically and purposefully carved out according to existing demographic realities as an ethnic homeland for the Gaugas people. And it shows on the map. Gaugasia is not a single united territory, but rather an unusual collection of connected and detached areas which together form a specific special autonomous territory. Gaugasia has its own legislature, its own executive government, and regional lawmaking powers. Moreover, its self-determination is constitutionally recognized and protected in Moldova. But here is perhaps the most interesting part. According to Moldovan law, if the country were to ever lose its independence to a foreign power such as Russia, or if it were to unite with Romania, the people of Gaugasia would retain the right to decide their own fate. Article 111 of the Moldovan Constitution states the following: Gaugasia is an autonomous territorial unit having a special statute and representing a form of self-determination of the Gaugasian people. It constitutes an integral and inalienable part of the Republic of Moldova. There are immense similarities between this article and our own Article 235 of the South African Constitution. Both of these provisions recognize that self-determination can be exercised territorially without initially breaking up the existing state. Moldova's Article 111 grants a particular ethnic people regional autonomy within Moldova, while Section 235 of the South African Constitution recognizes the possibility of said self-determination by a community sharing a common cultural and linguistic heritage within a territorial entity of the Republic of South Africa. The crucial difference, however, is that Moldova has already converted this principle into a functioning autonomous homeland, whereas South Africa's constitution merely leaves the door open for such an arrangement to be established through national legislation that we as freedom-loving Afrikaners have now already been waiting for over 3 decades. But what makes this example of Gaugasia even more specifically relevant for South Africa is the fact that this autonomous volksstaat in Eastern Europe does not even constitute a unified territory. It wasn't carved out as a single large uninterrupted piece of land or coincide within the borders of any existing province of Moldova. If South African legislation were to follow this same precedent, Parliament could pass national legislation under Section 235, recognizing several geographically separate Afrikaner majority areas in and around Pretoria, for example, as part of one autonomous territorial arrangement. Likewise, communities such as Orania and Kleinfontein could vote to join, allowing the territory to be assembled voluntarily, community by community, step for step, year by year. Existing municipal boundaries could then be redrawn by the Municipal Demarcation Board so that these said Afrikaner communities are no longer governed from municipalities in which they form only a small minority and in which they also feel not represented at all. In fact, the Afrikaner majority cluster of neighborhoods in and around Pretoria, stretching from Montana in the north to Centurion in the south, and from the Moot in the west to the area around Kleinfontein and Ruyten in the east, already covers an area approaching half the size of Gaugasia. If such an enclave were to be established here, it would effectively be able to accommodate around 1 million Afrikaners already, who already live in and around this area as of today. But even more than this, it must be kept in mind that even in Moldova today, there are thousands of Gaugas people living outside of this territory, but still are citizens. Even for these people, their homeland serves as their cultural and institutional center, providing them with a recognized political voice and greater bargaining power nationally, also creating an economic hub and support network benefiting businesses and workers beyond its borders, and provides a secure destination for relocation if conditions elsewhere were to deteriorate, as well as, and this might be the most important part, providing a place where the Gaugas people can choose to pay their taxes. The idea of this relatively unknown Volksstaat in Eastern Europe serving as a model for potential legislation on Article 235 on self-determination here in South Africa is an idea you will most definitely not find anywhere else. But we here on this channel remain absolutely dedicated when it comes to digging up these examples to take the conversation about our constitutional right to self-determination to the next level. And you can help us in our cause and to keep producing videos such as this of this quality of research every single day by throwing your support behind us and becoming a patron of our channel. Simply follow these easy steps on the banner at the bottom of your screen. We remain committed towards piling up the pressure on our representatives in government to take the logical next step and introduce the legislation about self-determination demanded by Section 235 of this country's constitution. Finally, what is particularly interesting about the case of Gaugasia is that despite the fact that Moldova is, just like South Africa, a unitary state, the legislation which was introduced there regarding this enclave allows it to legally secede from Moldova should the country's borders be redrawn, for example, by unifying with Romania. In the recent video, we also highlighted the largely untold story of how South Africa's borders were already redrawn in 1994, which is a story not many people are aware of. Just merely weeks before the ANC came into power, when one municipality in the Cape Province seceded from our country. Check out that full story by clicking on this link appearing on your screen right now. Thanks for tuning in today, and thank you for the gift of your time for watching this video until the very end. Goodbye and God bless.